the profile of youth in Lowertown is different.
And many kids in this area don't know any programs that currently suit them.
They have so many things that they could accomplish, but they just don't have anyone to advocate for them.
And so what can we do to advocate for better investment programs, infrastructure in Lowertown?
It's very important to have a sense of belonging. I think that's human nature, right?
There used to be so many programs, so many activities to do with friends.
The youth are empowering us with a youth action plan of saying, hey, we need to modernize our spaces.
We're hoping to bring some of those programs back to this area.
The portrait of youth in Lowertown is one that is on the surface similar to youth across the city, but one thing that is very interesting about Lowertown is the percentage of youth under the age 18 in Lowertown is lower than the Ottawa average. But when you scratch beneath the surface a little bit, you see that the profile of youth in Lowertown is different. 50% of youth under the age of 18 live in households that are below the poverty line.
You plant this and it will turn into this next spring. That's the beauty of it.
Diversity. If you look at youth in Lowertown, between 80 and 85% of the youth in our programs are of different ethnicities and racial backgrounds.
My parents are from Sri Lanka. My name comes from there. Ki is supposed to mean some sort of religious significance, and Shan means peace. That's the fun thing about Lowertown East. Growing up, it was very much like a melting pot. Everyone got to know each other. Everyone understand each other enough that cultural differences didn't create squabbles or hindrance.
Diversity comes in the context of Ottawa and Canada, it comes with challenges, but it comes with great strengths as well. But the strength of the diversity is that youth, they feel accepted, and they accept and they learn to accept and not judge others. But one of the things that we've known about for a long time in Lowertown is limited access to resources, investment, and programming and infrastructure. And the youth know that and they feel that. They can't necessarily define but they feel it, and they feel an injustice.
Till I was like 13, there used to be so many programs, so many activities to do with friends, so many things to do, like music programs, STEM programs, after-school activities, homework help, those sort of things that help me both academically and physically in the neighborhood.
Well, so when I grew up in Lowertown, it was a very different era. When I was a kid and growing up and becoming a lifeguard and instructor here, the Somalian community was very present. Somali families were very present. And now those communities like me have aged. They have their own families, they've gone to university and colleges, and now we're seeing Burundi, Congolese families, Syrian families move into the neighborhood. So there's a new rebalance, if you will, of the engagements, of initiatives, of priorities for our youth. And there's been recent, over the last year, there was 3 large shootings that have really affected the heart and soul of young families. You know, those very tragic incidents that really shook the community and started important conversations, particularly on youth. The youth are empowering us with a youth action plan of saying, hey, we need to modernize our spaces, we need to make programs modern so that our schools, our gyms, our recreation spaces, our cultural spaces are open. And right now, today, I can't say that that's been fully fulfilled. It's really a work in progress, and we need to spark plug that with key strategies.
Yeah, with the pandemic, kids haven't been as connected as before, especially with at-home learning and the safety issues with this community. Many people have been stuck inside playing with people only they knew directly from school or something.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a community of hope where there's a lot of people with passion and dreams. They have so many things that they could accomplish, but they just don't have anyone to advocate for them. And I feel like everyone here is a bunch of people with talent and stuff. So I feel like if they get the right involvement with other people, they could accomplish a lot of things.
And many kids in this area don't know any programs that currently suit them, from programs involving the schools of De La Salle and York Street to programs from the Resource Centre have all been cut. The youth center, homework help.
Many youth feel a lack of belonging because they don't see that in their own neighborhood, in their own community, that they have access to some of the infrastructure and some of the programs and things that would make their lives more vibrant and more interesting that they would in other neighborhoods. So that lack of belonging comes from there, when they see that they are kind of left behind.
This is a relatively poor area, and generally speaking, a lot of people need financial help, academic help that their parents can't always help them with. A lot of people here are English language learners, and ESL programs are vital for them to be able to learn how to communicate and extend their education to post-secondary.
There is also a strong sense of connection to the neighborhood, and more importantly, they want to have that strength, and that is what drives them to get involved.
Because several programs are starting up again, but there isn't a clear goal a clear, consistent goal for all these groups to reach. Several programs have been started, but not many people know about them. Some programs are well known, but not very people are interested in. They're not what the community needs. Those sort of things to organize ourselves and figure out what people want in this community, what people need, and provide those for youth and families alike.
Oh, nice. Better, you know, to sit on the knees.
Yeah, that's one big group.
But then the knees get...
Our mission and mandate as the Lowertown Community Resource Centre is to improve the quality of life for all residents in Lowertown. And of course, that includes our youth. And so what can we do to advocate for better investment programs and infrastructure in Lowertown? What can we do to actually contribute to those things and do them ourselves? And how do we help youth gain a voice to advocate for those things themselves?
I think so. There was one road I went all the way down.
En fait, aujourd'hui, les jeunes de la Basse-Ville sont en train de faire une plantation de l'ail dans le jardin communautaire de Beau-Soleil. Ça rentre dans le cadre de la participation des jeunes du comité de la Basse-Ville qui s'engagent dans leur communauté, qui participent dans leur communauté. Et la plantation de l'ail, c'est ce qu'ils font. Et après, ils vont distribuer ça à la maison communautaire de la Basse-Ville et ça va être redistribué à toute la communauté.
Initially, I was involved back in grade 8. I used to do a lot of community activities, volunteered. I got the leadership award for my community involvement back in 2016. And I helped sponsor a community garden, help organize community events. I've been more on the down low when I was in high school since I was very busy and had medical problems, but I'm excited to be back, and since April I've been working and trying to do more in the community, trying to help out where I can.
There's a lot of people who are very cultural and there's a lot of people who aren't. Like they kind of go away from their culture because they want to fit in and be something that they're not. And I feel like your community makes you who you are, but at the same time you have to realize your own worth and realize what you are, because when you get older, the only person that needs to worry about you and will worry about you is yourself. So I feel like you should be able to deal with your own issues and be aware and alert and have a goal and try to achieve that goal.
So you gotta invest in yourself, bro. The way you eating, that's important. The way you stretching, the way you recovering. You reading any books? It's very important to have a sense of belonging. I think that's human nature, right? We all are looking for belonging in the end of the day. And I think with the belonging, it's also very important. Like, I understood as a youth, you get in trouble when you have too much time in your hands. So let's fill that time with some positive, healthy distractions, right? So my name is Manak Luwal, and I am the founder of Presidential, a social enterprise dedicated to bridging the gap faced by disadvantaged youth. One of our roles is to make sure that we're engaging them, and when I say engaging, I'm talking about giving them a healthy environment to create leaderships, to create the next generation of youth that are going to come out here and turn Lowertown into the next generation of what we want to see, right? It's like that, man. How was school?
School was great, man.
Why was it great? Not good. Why was it great?
Huh?
Why was it great?
Because I had fun.
What'd you learn today? Teach me one thing you got from today. Coaching is the anchor, so coaching is just the way we get the youth to come and engage in the program, but once they're here, we're looking for other things, right? We're looking to create healthy human beings, so through our skills and our drills, we give them situations where they're working with their emotional intelligence, strengthening those areas. Some of these youth are coming here with a lot of confidence, and if they're coming with the confidence, you want to show them how to move without their ego. There's some of the youth coming here and they don't have any confidence, and those are the youth you're trying to encourage as much as you can until they don't need you anymore and they can kind of move forward forward without you. So it depends who you're talking to, but at the end of the day is to give them tools for them to be successful off the court.
One of the things that we've done as an organization is we supported youth, and we went out and rallied other partners together to invest in the development of a youth action plan for Lowertown.
The entry point is pretty hard for some people, and they find it very sketchy, as well as...
We worked with youth. The youth themselves hired and chose consultants. The youth were the ones who decided what would be the elements of that plan. And the youth are still involved in forming committees and making sure that the elements of that plan are being carried through and followed up on by the residents and by organizations and municipal government.
According to the organism who give us the funds,
the committee is made up, it's an open membership. Youth who want to get involved can get involved. It's mostly youth who are in the teenage age range, and they meet on a weekly basis, and they decide what they want to get involved in and what they want to advocate for.
Well, in grade 7, grade 8, there was the student council, and then there was an election for what you wanted to be. You could have went for the president, vice president, and I went for president, ended up winning, got lucky, won. And then after that, we did some activities, advocated for the school. Because before, what would happen is a lot of students would play basketball, and when they shot the ball, there was like some kind of ring thing that had like a spike on it, and it would pop all the basketballs, and then we got that issue covered out. And also, on another note, for the people of the LGBT community, so for a lot of people that were part of the LGBT community, they kind of found themselves shy. They didn't want to speak out for because they couldn't accept the fact of what they were, and they were kind of shy because they were afraid other people would tease them. So we ended up making the Rainbow Alliance, and that helped for all the people who were part of the LGBT community. They came out, joined the group, they talked about things, they made everyone feel comfortable in that home. It also helped with people who were teasing them before to be more alert and not say things that were unjust and not kind, so that you could realize that anyone can be whatever they want. You just have to live with the fact that that's what they are, and you have to love them and respect them the same way. You shouldn't judge. So yeah.
So the Youth Action Plan was unveiled in March of 2022. So it's only been about 7 months since that came into effect. And our hope is that over the next 2, 3, 4 years, we'll be able to look back at that plan and look at all the elements in that plan and name some very specific concrete things that have been put in place to respond to them.
I think that should be focused on after. Maybe we could start from the ground and build up.
Lowertown in the last couple of years, it's had its rises and its falls, right? And there was a few incidences in the neighborhood where a lot of kids had issues dealing with the trauma of losing a friend, right? In the community, around the game of basketball, right? So I think to see the neighborhood take a hit like that, and to see the leaders that come up, use their voice to kind of bring people together and grow them together and heal together. Honestly, from where they were and where they are now, I would say there's a lot of youth right now that are coming up, and they're going to be the ones that are going to really take control of the neighborhood in the next little while.
And when we get the opportunity to do that, we could do that after, and we can make that our new home.
The sense of community and group, togetherness, has sort of been lost over the years. I'm hoping that through different programs that pique the interest of many youth, that we can bring people back together and create a more sense of community, bring back that sense of community that has been lost over the years.
There's a lot of people who are very cultural, and there's a lot of people who aren't. They kind of go away from their culture because they want to fit in and be something that they're not. And I feel like your community makes you who you are, but at the same time you have to realize your own worth and realize what you are, because when you get older, the only person that needs to worry about you and will worry about you is yourself. So I feel like you should be able to deal with your own issues and be aware and alert and have a goal and try to achieve that goal.
I think in some ways it takes two to tango. That dance is important, it's healthy. The city needs to be aware of Lowertown, it needs to invest in Lowertown, and at the same time, Lowertown needs to define what its needs are and what its priorities are.
I'm hoping to be more involved, get these programs going, and trying to bring this community together again and bring youth together and create a sense of belonging in this community that I remember it for.
My hope? I feel like my hope would be that one day the world could live in peace, where a lot of things that should be really necessities haven't been dealt with, like access to clean water or education for women in some places that haven't been dealt with. I feel like when the world's at peace, I'll be at peace.